This is Open World Forum 11. You're on Intelli'n TV. Here with me is Werner Knoblich, General Manager EMEA of Red Hat. We're here to discuss about Linux and Red Hat. So, Werner, Linux was created 20 years ago. What do you think about the evolution of Linux throughout this time?
I think it's a great success. When you look at the numbers, in the meantime, way over 20% of the worldwide servers are powered by Linux. I'm personally already close to 9 years, in this space. When I joined Red Hat over close to 9 years ago, when especially the adoption of Linux in the enterprise really started. I'm meeting with CIOs, kind of every single day, every single week, and the vast majority have a two operating system strategy going forward, which is Microsoft and Linux equals in most cases Red Hat. So there is it's a great, success so far, but I'm convinced, the success will even continue also for many years to come, especially now with the cloud movement, where you see all the public clouds, the majority of the clouds are already powered by Linux. And that's right now, I think it's the next big opportunity. So I'm convinced that the success of Linux will keep continuing.
And the success of Red Hat actually has been rooted on Linux, right?
Absolutely. Linux is has been the roots of Red Hat. Then Red Hat, created in 2002 its enterprise Linux offering. And with this, we really got the entry into the enterprise. And in the meantime, we became kind of the reference standard for enterprise Linux, in the market. But in the meantime, it's not just about Linux, it's also about open source technologies in other areas like middleware, like virtualization, and also now cloud computing.
And so what would you say are some of the major successes of Red Hat during this time?
When you look at currently over 60% of the worldwide equity trading happens on Red Hat technology. Happens on open source in Red Hat technology. So a huge success. When you look at stock markets like the New York Stock Exchange or nice Euronext here in Europe, the Japanese Stock Exchange, and so on, they're all running their trading platforms and applications on Red Hat Enterprise Linux. The major investment banks, the major telecommunication companies, major governments, be it in the US governments, be it the army, be it the Department of Defense, and so on, be it governments, in Brazil, in Germany, here in France, many ministries are actively using open source. So, especially also in the government sector, open source, helped governments to, on one side, really save costs, but also truly be open and not be, getting locked in. So governments helped us a lot in the adoption of open source in general.
Okay, so we talked about the successes. What about some of the challenges that you think are lying ahead? Yeah. Linux and Red Hat.
You still have, major market forces who do not have an interest in open source, open standards, to succeed. Okay, because you have still many proprietary software companies who make a lot of money, making big margins and big profits on the fact that they can lock in the customer. Okay, and they are still very, very powerful companies, and they are not easy to just displace. Okay, because they're acquiring more and more software companies. It's a big consolidation in the market, so the big guys getting even bigger. And with this having you more power locking in the customer. So this definitely is a big challenge and threat, to fighting there against the giants. But I think we are right now at the stage that nobody will stop this open movement anymore because it just is adopted way too much and just creates so much value that nobody can ignore it.
Okay, so you're saying that this is going to create also opportunities for small companies, or they're going to become more
absolutely.
extinct?
And when you see there's already many small startup companies trying to build a business model also around open source technology and using open source technology. So the good news is today when you are a new software company and you want to start something, you don't have to redevelop everything because so many base components are available in the open source community where you get a real jump start. Okay, so nobody's thinking about developing an operating system or or other infrastructure software. So this helps really, companies get started for significant lower cost. Without open source, the internet in its way would not really exist. Google as it exists today, Facebook as it exists today, would not be the size they are today.
Well, just to end things up, so question: how do you like Paris?
I love
Are you
Paris.
enjoying the conference?
I love Paris. I'm regular here in Paris. You know, at least every second month. I always, love the food in Paris. Clearly, the weather usually is nice as well. So, and also from a business perspective, France is a very, very strong market for us. And France as a country is one of the countries with the highest adoption rate of open source technology, also driven by the government, which is good news. So France as a country is very, very important also for us, for me within my region in Europe.
Well, thank you very much. Hope you enjoy the rest of the conference. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you.